guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. This mugshot is of Jermaine LaVanda Bass. He's a Tampa father who's accused of shooting his 2 children and killing the 5-year-old and critically injuring his 8-year-old last year in Tampa, Florida. Unfortunately, I just heard about this case, but it looks like there's been a lot going on this year and looks like he may be going to trial in 2024. So I'm going to play the presser from the Hillsbourough County Sheriff, who goes into the details of what happened on this horrific night.
A case that is not only tragic, but extremely disturbing. Around 10:30 p.m. last evening, a mother's out for dinner and is making every effort she can to get home before her children go to sleep. So she arrives at the house and goes upstairs to say goodnight to her 5-year-old daughter, who sleeps in the top bunk, and her 8-year-old son, who sleeps in the bottom bunk. When she goes and kisses both of them goodnight, her 5-year-old daughter even giggles because she was trying to act like she was already asleep. So she kisses both her children asleep, leaves them there with the children's father, her husband, and runs to the restroom because she has to go to the bathroom. While she's going to the bathroom, she hears several gunshots. She initially believed that the gunshots happened right outside her residence, but then sometime shortly thereafter said these gunshots were too close. Fearing for her own life, she runs outside. When she runs outside, she encounters her next door neighbor. He had already made a frantic 911 call to our communication center saying that he heard several gunshots. She takes over the phone call and starts talking to our 911 dispatcher. As that phone call's occurring, the husband, the children's father, walks outside carrying the 8-year-old son, saying, "Call for help, call for help, call for help." Our deputies and Hillsbourough County Fire Rescue rush to the scene and are there a short time later. When our deputies initially arrive on scene, they see the father in the family room cradling the 8-year-old son, saying it was an accident. They're like, "Sir, what do you mean it was an accident?" "It was an accident. I don't know how the gun went off. I accidentally shot my son." Fire Rescue gets there and does a wonderful job of initiating every life-saving measure that they can think of to prepare this child to be transported to Tampa General Hospital. The detectives on scene then say, "Is there anyone else inside the residence? Is there anyone else here?" They said, the husband says, my 5-year-old daughter's upstairs sleeping." Deputies go upstairs only to make the gruesome discovery that there's a 5-year-old laying in a top bunk, laying in a pool of her own blood. She is shot 2 to 3 times in her head. The same injury that the 8-year-old had sustained and suffered from. Paramedics come upstairs, again, begin life-saving measures, and rush both children to Tampa General Hospital. Our 5-year-old victim has been pronounced deceased. Our 8-year-old is fighting for his life. He went to surgery last evening and this morning is fighting for his life, as the wonderful, wonderful doctors and staff at Tampa General Hospital are doing everything they can to save this young boy's life. This is a case that, and an experience that no parent should have to live through, and that no law enforcement officer or first responder should ever have to witness. We as a sheriff's office are struggling today. Our detectives and deputies who were on scene are going to need some help, and we're bringing some counselors in to try to get them through this gruesome scene that they had to witness and detectives have to work through as they continue to put the pieces of the puzzle together here. Arrested is Jermaine LaVanda Bass. He's 30 years of age. His date of birth is 4/27/1992. He has been charged with first-degree premeditated murder and first-degree attempted premeditated murder and aggravated child abuse. I hope that this individual feels the full weight of the criminal justice system and never sees the light of day where he can ever be in a position to harm another human being. In Tampa Bay, we're extremely privileged. We have so many wonderful resources. The Spring of Tampa Bay. If anyone ever feels they may be a victim of family violence, pick up the phone and take advantage of such a wonderful resource. The same goes for the crisis center. It's as simple as calling 988. That's as easy it is to get the help that you may need, as to call 988. As deputies initially working through the call, and once they went upstairs and made the gruesome discovery that he had also shot his 5-year-old daughter, they read him his Miranda rights, and he declined to make any further comment. I don't know why he did this, and I don't know if we'll ever know, and he didn't make any further comments except the fact when we encountered the 8-year-old son, and he said that it was an accident, that he accidentally shot his son. But you don't accidentally shoot your children 3 to 4 times in the head. I'll try to take any questions I can at this time.
This is such a heart-wrenching situation. Like the sheriff just said, you do not accidentally shoot your children in the head 2 or 3 times. That just doesn't happen. Okay? Something is wrong with Jermaine Bass. There is something wrong with him. And again, he's on a $2.5 million bond. He's been in jail since pretty much the start of this entire, the shooting. And he's not going anywhere. He's got 9 pages of court things that have been happening in court I've gone through. I'll go through that a bit as well. There's a lot been going on because it's been since 2022. And again, but it looks like 2024 is going to be when we're finally going to see, hopefully, a trial. But as of right now, he's not talking about why he shot his kids. Why the hell would you shoot your 5 and 8-year-old? That's not normal. And he has no prior criminal history. That makes no sense whatsoever. There's no rational reason for anything that this man has done. There's just not. Okay? And I don't know how to explain it, but thank God his 8-year-old has survived this entire ordeal. The poor kid, gosh knows what happened in that room. And then mom apparently goes to use the bathroom, and from what I understand, she seems to be not wanting to give up like her phone for data and stuff. So I'm not sure what mom knows, because it seems to be there's some secrets going on. Was there domestics there that nobody knew about? I don't know. But Sheriff, Chad Chronister is definitely, highly disturbed, and as is his department, and for good reason. There's no reasonable explanation to, first of all, shoot your children at all, but then you're going to shoot your children while they're in bed? I can't fathom why this would happen. I really can't. And it's really odd to me that mom claims she kissed her kids goodnight, she goes to the bathroom, and then she hears shots, and instead of going to check on her kids, she runs outside. That bothers me as well. But I'm just kind of getting into this case, so there's a lot to it. Now, apparently during a search of the children's bedroom, a blanket soaked with suspected blood and 4 separate .38 caliber shell casings were discovered on the top bunk, where the confidential victim number 1 was found by deputies. I believe that would be the 5-year-old. The blanket had a hole in it, which appeared consistent with a projectile traveling through it. So he basically shot his daughter through a blanket. Detectives also noted 2 holes consistent with bullet damage, which penetrated the north wall of the children's bedroom. Both holes penetrated into the bathroom, which was located north of the children's bedroom. One hole was over the top railing of the top bunk, and the other penetrated the metal top bunk railing before penetrating the wall at approximately the same height as the railing. On the lower bunk, detectives discovered a single .38 caliber shell casing, which was underneath another blanket, which is also covered in suspected blood. Detectives did find a gray Glock 42 .38 caliber gun in the dresser of the primary bedroom, which was next to Bass's wallet, according to the filings. The gun was empty with an empty magazine next to it, according to the DA's office. So, why the hell? Why? Like I said, to me, we hear about these horrific things all the time. They're already horrible enough, but it seemed like, from what Mom is saying, it was a normal kind of thing, and she comes home, kisses her kids goodnight, goes and rushes to the bathroom, and her husband, the baby's daddy, the kid's dad, shoots the kids. 0 sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. But let me play the rest of this where he's answering some of the questions from the media. Again, this press conference really gave a lot of key information, about this case.
Have there been any other calls to service at this residence?
Yeah, great question. No calls for service at this residence, and the Jermaine Bass, we find no criminal history on him.
Has the mother been able to shed on any light on whether or not there's been any prior instances of domestic violence?
Yeah, from not that we know at this time. We continue to talk to her. As you can understand, she's been through something quite traumatic. So we tread lightly as we're trying to have those conversations with her, but nothing that we know of now. But again, this is extremely preliminary. That could change as she starts to gather her thoughts, but nothing that we know of now. No indicators. Like I said, she kissed her children goodbye and went to use the restroom to go to bed herself.
Other than this residence, how would you describe safety in this area, this neighborhood? How is safety there?
This neighborhood in North Tampa, up by the U.S. area, it's a nice neighborhood, a nice family neighborhood. Again, the neighbor heard the gunshots and walked outside to see if he could offer any assistance, and immediately called 911. That's all we could ever ask for. So, not a bad neighborhood. It's the Armature Gate townhomes, north of Fletcher Avenue, east of Barris Avenue. A nice community.
And you said the mother ran outside because she thought the gunshots were happening outside?
No, she initially thought the gunshots happened outside when she was using the bathroom, but then realized that they happened inside the residence, so she ran outside real quick, and that's when she ran into the neighbor who was there to offer assistance and who had already called 911. And again, moments later, the husband, the children's father, run outside as well, cradling his 8-year-old son, saying, "Call for help, call for help, call for help."
Any other questions? Sorry, do you have an exact address? I can give it.
Yeah, I do not, but we'll certainly get that to you.
Sharon, what's your message to the family, to neighbors, to those dealing with this loss?
To this mother who's lost one child and could possibly lose a second, and whose marriage is obviously over, our heart goes out to you. I certainly will pray for all of you today.
Sheriff, one more question. Was the gun registered to him?
I don't know that. We know it's a .380 semi-automatic firearm. Again, working through those details now. If we get those, I'll certainly put everything we get out to everybody.
Sheriff, those were the only 2 kids in the home? It was just them?
Yes, it was just the 4 who lived in the house. Just the 4 were inside the residence when this happened.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Again, that was the presser. That was initially done pretty soon after the crime happened. That was conducted in September of 2022. So there has been some more information gathered since then, like I stated, with as far as the weapon and some further information with that. But again, there seems to be not too much has been publicly released, but there's been some. as far as that's concerned. Because as we know, a lot of these cases, there's not a whole lot of details that come out to us before trial and what have you. Now, this is the obituary for the 5-year-old daughter who he killed, Jayla Bass. Not many photos I've been finding of her, but look at that sweet face. 5 years old. November 26, 2016 to August 29th, 2022. And I do have some information about her here. It states Miss Jayla was born on November 26, 2016 in Tampa, Florida. She was the daughter of Jermaine and Princess Bass. She passed away on August 29th, 2022 at the age of 5. Jayla was a kindergartner at Paizo Elementary School. She was a cheerleader with B Elite All-Stars. Wow, sounds like she was already getting active at 5 years old. Jayla also loved butterflies. Her mother said her favorite foods were crabs, pasta, brownies, sweet tea, and cinnamon rolls for breakfast. Can go with the cinnamon rolls. Smart kid. Her grandmother, LaQuinn, said she loved spending time with Jayla because she was just so precious and lovable. Jayla is survived by her parents, her brother, J.J. Bass, maternal grandparents, Rick and Sue Romeo, paternal grandparents, LaQuenza Thomas and Jermaine Iris Bass, uncles, Prince Romeo, Richard Keisha Romeo, Marlene Gadsden, fiance Howard Tyson, Jesse Viverette, Jesse J. Viverette, Katrina Bass, Amia Bass, and Cassandra Bass. Great-grandparents Valerie Bass and Linda Robinson, and a host of many other family and friends. Very, very sad. This sweet child, 5 years old, her life was just beginning, and he took it from her. For what? He's not talking. So far, I've heard nothing. So I consider him, I don't understand how he's got no history, and all of a sudden he pulls out a gun and shoots his kids. And then he runs outside with the 8-year-old. See, to me, the events of that night are just mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense. You know, mom comes home, kisses them goodnight. They're in their bunk beds. She's on the top, brother on the bottom. And then she goes to the bathroom, and she hears gunshots. So instead of checking on these kids, she runs outside. That's something that immediately threw red flags at me. Why would you not check on your kids first? And then he runs outside as she's talking to a neighbor who's already calling 911, and he has the son in his arms, saying he was shot, and he accidentally shot him. Law enforcement comes, he tells him this, and finally he goes, oh yeah, I have a 5-year-old daughter in the house, she's sleeping. Cops go upstairs to see, and his daughter is dead, and he pulled the blood. Paramedics tried to save her. They couldn't save her. I don't know if she could have been saved if he would have said something sooner, but the bottom line is she was up there all alone, and why would he take the 8-year-old and not the 5-year-old outside? Regardless, to me, this was not an accident. This was not an accident, Jermaine. I don't know if you had a psychotic break. I don't know what happened. And was mom involved? Because I don't know what to think about mom either. It's horrific that, this happened. And if mom has nothing, involvement in it, obviously, that's, I hope not. But her actions are a little odd to me. But this poor 8-year-old, his father's now in jail for shooting him and killing his sister. And his mother, I don't know if she's got custody of him or not. That I don't know. There has been some information in his court documents that there's been some issue. There's been some work with children, family, and services, and it looks like his parental rights were severed. I don't know if if his divorce, if his divorce from his wife has been finalized or not yet. But I don't get it. I mean, what do you guys think? To me, he looks, in this picture here, he looks real odd to me. He looks like he's either drugged. I mean, he could just be exhausted. But I don't know. I'm not buying that either. He looks like he's on something. Or something. I don't know. The look on his face to me is like the look on these faces of these other parents who go out to kill their children. Blank. Blank. Look at the eyes. There's nothing there. Nothing is there. This is his case number here, 22-CF-011717-A. 9 pages long, as you can see on the top here. I was able to locate it. Got them all downloaded. As you can see, it's still currently open. Looks like he owes $50. That really doesn't matter. But, so here's his charges here. Got the premeditated murder in the first degree, aggravated child abuse, another aggravated child abuse, and murder in the first degree. So those are his 4 charges that were charged to him as of 8/29 of 2022. Now, his next court date is 1/4. So that's why I wanted to get this covered at least in brief right now, because I'm going to go through it more as the case progresses in next year. So he's got a status review hearing with Judge Kimberly Fernandez. So it's virtual though, so it's going to be just on Zoom. I'm going to try to see if I can catch it, and we'll let you guys know what happened. He hasn't really been in court though, it looks like. So he's got lots of motions happening. Of note though, up here I wanted to show you. See here, he's got stipulations here as far as the Department of Children and Family Services. So his termination of parental rights. So again, as we know, anything to do with CPS, Children and Family Services, we're just going to see the filing, and there's not real details because that's all sealed because of the kids. So that's definitely not going to be something we hear too much about. So he's got that going on. So he's had a few status hearings this year. A lot has happened in 2023 for him. He's got some filings happening here. I'm going to see what I can get a hold of with FOIA as far as that's concerned. But they finally compelled him to give a buccal swab. So it looks like I don't know why they didn't do it already. I would assume they've already done it already, but it's possible they needed something further. But they did have a buccal swab done in October. Let's see. Again, there's been a lot going on because this has been since the end of August of 2022. So he's had a few status hearings, and I'm hoping that we are going to get a court case or some kind of pleading in 2024. They've got depositions that have happened, all kinds of discovery. Again, lots going on this year with his case. So I'm going to assume that 2024 will be quite big for his case. And that's what it takes, though, for a lot of these cases take, 2 or 3 years. So, yeah. And looks like they originally tried to do a date of this past, June, but that didn't happen. But again, he is set to go to court on 1/4 here on Zoom. And I will definitely be making sure that I get the details on that, because we really need to see what is going on with his case, because he's on a $2.5 million bond, so he's not going anywhere. And I'm curious to see what's going on with his ex-wife there, because it's been a lot of stuff I've been hearing that she's not necessarily the most cooperative, but I have to look further into that. But let me know what you guys think of this case. Again, It would happen at the end of 2022. I'm just hearing about it. I got a tip about it, and since I'm in Orlando, this happened in Tampa. This is pretty close to home, so I'm definitely going to be covering it here on the channel. And let's get some justice for these two kids, especially the little one, the little 5-year-old. They deserve justice. And I honestly would like to know why the hell he did it. Why? What all of a sudden happened? Or was it pre-planned? They're stating it was premeditated. I don't know if that's something they could prove. I guess we're going to see. But that's all I've got for this one. Again, going to keep covering it. Let me know what you guys think. With that said, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.